going to be completely transparent right now. I just finished having the biggest mental breakdown and I want to talk about it. I have a friend that was in a 4-year relationship and she was broken up with in March. I randomly got this urge to text her today to just ask her how she's doing and if she's feeling any better. And our conversation was going on, and she told me that she's already dating someone new. And I just want to preface this by saying I am so happy for her that she was able to find someone that fast. But I cannot help but compare myself to that and ask myself, why is it so easy for some people to date and find relationships that fast, let alone that quickly after just ending a really long relationship? And then you've got people like me who are in their late 20s and cannot even get someone to want to commit to them. And I'm not gonna lie, it really makes me feel terrible about myself. Like, I cannot help but wonder if there is something wrong with me, genuinely. Like, do I put forth some sort of repellent? Like, I truly do not understand. And I'm not saying that my friend and this guy are going to actually go anywhere. I'm just saying, like, the fact that she was just able to find someone so quickly that she likes and he likes her in return and he's willing to treat her well and take her on dates. Like, why can't I have the same? I just do not understand the way these things go. And, like, I just wonder, when will it ever be my turn? Will I ever get a turn?
First reaction, a lot to unpack. First, I'm going to make a summary of the video. She sends a text to one of her friends who recently broke up. 3 months later, that friend seems to have already found somebody. She is astounded by the fact that her reaction to the news is not one of joy, but is one of dread. She has a negative feeling that rises up the surface of her skin and her body and her being. She's surprised with her own feelings, and then she thinks, why is this happening to me? Is this fair? Am I doing something wrong? Am I giving guys the ick? Why does this constantly seem to be happening to me? There's a lot to unpack. I know I made a lot of fun of her and her stressful situation. I don't mean to have no sympathy or empathy for the fact that she's feeling bad for this situation. Actually, it's very understandable. Lots of women who date around and who are, sexually liberated, who have fun experiences, reach the age of 20 something without having found a real relationship, without any of those such experiences. And it's quite stressful because they understand that sooner or later it's going to be harder to find a guy than it is now. Market value will drop, and sooner or later their ability to have children there also will drop. So they're kind of stressed and they want to get it done quickly, which leads a lot of women to make decisions not based on love, but based on fear. They're much more willing to compromise their freedom or their morals or their principles in order to get a partner. Yeah, that can change after menopause or after the age of giving children, like 40. But in that stage, as a late 20-year-old, kind of guaranteed. Now, first and foremost, I'm not surprised that she's unhappy that her friend is succeeding. You see, women have a very different relationship towards how they compete with other women in comparison to how guys compete. Guys compete openly and directly. This is backed by evolutionary psychology. Women, on the other hand, they actually compete not openly, but they compete in hidden ways. They compete underneath the surface. They're masters of diplomacy. Their main ambition or their main drive is not to have any type of open, direct, visible conflict. And whoever they feel threatened by or they feel that they need to compete with, they will do so in a subversive, behind the scenes type of way. And sometimes without even having to admit to themselves, they don't want to deal with that type of guilt. They want to be the nice girls. The dynamics behind that are something I can explain in another video because that takes already like 15 minutes. But one of the results that came out in evolutionary psychology studies of intragender competition is that women actually feel bad when their female counterpart succeeds. Guys, on the other hand, actually feel good or feel average, feel medium, feel neutral when their male counterparts succeed. This is fascinating. So if a girl gets high grades at school, other girls will feel unhappy. When a girl is very good looking, her female counterparts will feel threatened and will feel literally negative feelings that they cannot explain. This is why girls like to watch shows like Desperate Wives of America, where there's backstabbing, gossip. They love to watch, X on the Beach, where there is, again, backstabbing and gossiping. And men tend to like superhero movies where they can look up to another man and be inspired by their victory, and almost live vicariously through that hero. That's one thing. So she shouldn't be surprised. This is natural. I get it. Your friend is succeeding, you ain't. It sucks. At the same time, is she really succeeding? Because she just had a serious relationship, you said, and now 3 months later, she already found a boyfriend. Now, how serious that is? Look, I'm not saying that it's not possible to find real love consecutively. I've faced situations where I jumped from one relationship quickly to another, but it's a sign of relationship addiction. It's a sign of neediness. It's a sign of codependency. It's a sign that you cannot be alone. There is a lot of reflecting to do once you go through a breakup. The first moment that you are, by yourself, you're having deep introspection, flashbacks of the entire relationship, reinventing your identity, reconsidering who you're going to be in this second attempt at the dating market. What are you going to bring to the table? What are you going to bring to yourself? What's your relationship with yourself going to be like now that you've evolved to this new stage? Normally it takes more than 3 months. Some people would argue a year. Doesn't matter how long it takes. We don't know, but we can guess. We can guesstimate. 3 months is quite short to process all that and to do some self-developing, which is advisable once you go through a massive breakup, through a breakup of a long-term relationship. Doesn't have to be a massive one, but yeah, through a breakup. Again, all speculation, right? Nothing wrong with her friend finding love, but it's kind of sus. It's kind of sus. Maybe she never liked the guy in the first place, and now she actually found love, and that was a quick decision. Maybe she needs somebody. She's super afraid to be alone. So it's not necessarily a good thing. Okay? The other thing, which I think is the most important and the most interesting part of the whole video, is she is extremely afraid of never finding a guy. She says it's so hard to find a guy. She says it's so hard for them to feel attracted to her. And I'm not so sure. She seems okay attractive. She seems like a average, beautiful girl, a 6 or a 7, which for guys is wonderfully attractive, more than enough. It's I always say average is great for guys, but maybe she's not that. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe she's trying to be too special. And if there's one thing that turns off guys, turns off men, is understanding that their lady is high maintenance. Men that really like high maintenance women, these tend to be very powerful men on the top of the dating market, right? The men with most options. And they will look at high maintenance women and they might see something interesting there. Maybe it's because she's very pretty. They're like, I'm willing to pay her unrealistic demands because she's offering me things that are rare, like her beauty or her social status. But if you're an average looking girl, you have to see that graph of how crazy you are versus how beautiful she is and what is tolerable. You have to look at that. Look that up, ladies. Boys as well, you probably know about it. If you are an average looking lady and you have a very demanding presence, it's going to be hard to attract men because it's just not worth the price. And this is something that I notice, very intelligent women or very argumentative women or very ambitious women, especially very ambitious women, imply a very direct level of competition with men, and men are already dealing with that in the male world, also with other women, and they don't want to deal with that at home. So a lot of women that are high achievers, highly ambitious, highly competitive, are dumbfounded by the fact that it's so hard to find a man. But the thing is that that's not what men are looking for. Men are not necessarily attracted to your ability to excel. They're attracted by your ability to nurture, your ability to care, your ability to provide peace, your ability to provide enjoyment. This girl, she brings all types of energy of like stress, debating, justify yourself, explain yourself. And to be honest, she's just not that good looking for that type of demanding behavior. Now, you can crucify me and say, oh, how dare you, but this is just the way things are. And when I mean good looking, I'm not using some sort of objective measurement and say her face is not good enough. It's entirely subjective, yes, but there tends to be a mean of an answer, right? So people will tend to grade a woman's beauty or attractiveness around the same way. Yes, there will be outliers, there will be people who see her different. The beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But at the same time, beauty is more than just looks or symmetry or hygiene. It is also aura. It is also the energy you give out. And the energy she gives out is stressed, is tense, is used. She looks, also the fact that she's making these videos and expressing her emotions, she looks way too available for the world out there. And that all men know that that's a red flag. That means probably she's coming with some emotional trauma, some issues that are gonna, on a later stage of the relationship, they're gonna backfire. So every man has to be careful when he sees a woman like this that is highly exposed, that is her masculine traits are strong, her feminine traits are not so strong. So it seems that there is an energy imbalance in the wrong direction. And yeah, in general, just not it's not gonna work for her. Ladies, if you wanna attract men, learn from Latinas, learn from Russian ladies. Now, I'm not telling you to be extremely submissive and say, yes, my man does everything. But learn how to master feminine energy and see how it differs completely from nagging, from direct confrontation, from public confrontation. And you will find a lot of Latinas and Eastern European women, or even African women, like I experienced, they have a lot of masculine energy, but their feminine energy is higher. So if your masculine energy is very high, that's not a problem if your feminine energy is even higher, and that balances out. Okay? Another important thing of being able to find a man is knowing how to flirt. You got to know how to flirt. You got to know what you have to offer. I'm not going to say, what do you bring to the table? Because everybody brings something to the table, but you got to know what it is that you offer, and you got to stand by it. And you got to not give it away for free. And you got to be able to convince a person that that value can be given over the long run. That is not just some, one night stand that you can offer, and that's going to cut it. It is way more complicated than I'm making it, but at the same time, there must be an explanation why she gets a guy all the time. Maybe she's also sluttier, right? And why you don't. Now, this was more of advice for the ladies, but I think it's also useful for us guys to give her the arguments, give them the explanations that they need when they are so confused as to why is it that we are not attracted over the long run, or where we find it hard to trust, or we find it hard to respect a woman. Now, I hope this was useful for you, and I'll see you on the next one.